Joao Pedro versus Hugo Ekitike. The two new summer signings have taken the Premier League by storm this season. Two players who weren't tipped to be signing of the season at the start of the year by many people, but with only a quarter of the season remaining, they're right up there in those conversations. In recent weeks on social media, rival fans have been debating who's the better player out of the two, so let's go through it. Starting off with Joao Pedro first. Chelsea bought him from Brighton for £60 million, at the time questioned by many people around the world. A man who's not really an out-and-out striker, isn't known best for his goal-scoring abilities, and even if you were to play him as a cam, why would you do so when you have Cole Palmer, arguably the best number 10 in the Premier League in many people's eyes at the time? But Joao Pedro soon ended all those doubts immediately, firing for Chelsea in the Club World Cup against his former side Fluminense, scoring two beautiful goals. He then scored another excellent goal against the best team in the world at the time, PSG, in the Club World Cup final to help his side win 3-0. He went from talks of being flop of the season to signing of the season very, very quickly, and the Premier League campaign hadn't even started yet. He netted in his second Premier League game for Chelsea in a 5-1 win against West Ham, and on his second home game for the club in a 2-0 win against Fulham. But Joao Pedro's form took a dip. He managed 0 goals and 1 assist in his next 8 games for Chelsea, and even picked up a red card against Benfica. A lot of people were saying it's just a purple patch of good form that he had for Chelsea at the start. He did manage to get back on a score sheet against Tottenham. Joao Pedro was still putting in decent performances, but it wasn't helping that during this period of time, Chelsea were getting red cards almost every game. He was also constantly being shifted between a cam and striker. He would then pick up some form again after scoring against Wolves, but we saw the same patterns. Joao Pedro not firing for a couple games in a row, then out of nowhere he would score 2 in 3 games. And no one was sure, was this guy actually the right number 9 for Chelsea, or a good player but not the right profile for Chelsea? Joao Pedro's time under Maresca was mixed, and as you're probably aware, Maresca did end up getting sacked, and Liam Rosner took over, who's constantly praised Joao Pedro since, and even tweets came out from 2020 of him praising Joao Pedro. I don't know if those tweets are real, but they seemed quite legit. Joao Pedro immediately got firing under Liam Rosner. He managed to score 5 goals in his first 5 matches under the new manager, 2 of them being standout performances. One against Napoli, where he scored 2 crucial goals to help Chelsea secure a top 8 finish, and one against West Ham, where he got a goal and an assist off the bench to help Chelsea complete the comeback from 2-0 down. Joao Pedro has now hit consistent form. He's linking up well, he's scoring more often. We knew he had the playmaking and assist in his game, but this consistent form of goal scoring is something he's picked up under Liam. Most recently, he netted a hat-trick against Aston Villa in the Premier League. Joao Pedro has 19 goals and assists now, combined in 29 matches. A very good return, 14 of those being goals and 5 of them being assists. I've even seen Chelsea fans saying Joao Pedro has become a completely new player since the arrival of the new manager, and is much more consistent. Liam Rosner recently said he wouldn't swap Joao Pedro for any striker in the world, and belongs on the table of Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. That's some big praise, but to be fair to him, only Haaland has more non-penalty goals than him in the Premier League this season, so I can understand where he's coming from in a way. On to Hugo Ekitike now. Liverpool bought him for £79 million from Frankfurt. I saw so many people calling him flop of the season, a panic buy, an overpay, but the young Frenchman hadn't even kicked the ball yet. Like Joao Pedro, however, he instantly silenced those talks quickly, with 3 goals in his first 3 games and an assist on top of that. He set the Premier League on fire. His link-up play was so good, he was composed in front of goal, and as a whole package, he was good. He went from having talks of flop of the season to the coldest baller in the world. August and September times. I don't know if you lot have TikTok. Well, if you're seeing this on YouTube, I don't know if you have TikTok. If you're seeing this on TikTok, then yeah, you do have TikTok, of course. If you have a mainly football FYP, this man would have been all over your For You page. I'm certain a million edits were made on this man in those 2 months alone. However, he went on a goal drought too, like Joao Pedro, except the difference is he was being benched by £120 million man Alexander Isak. So it ruined his momentum, but every time he entered the pitch, you could see Ekitike offered more than just goals. He was a handful for defenders, regardless of him scoring or not. Ekitike forced his way back into the starting 11 with a brace against Leeds. Isak did unfortunately suffer a broken leg, which allowed Ekitike to step up. Ekitike in recent times has loved the brace. He scored a brace against Leeds, Brighton and Newcastle. He's been playing well, and I found it weird that he was drawing Gyökeres comparisons, but I think he's somewhat ended those debates because the majority of people can see that Ekitike is more than just goals, but even then, he has more goal contributions than Gyökeres. He has 15 goals and assists in 26 matches. However, I do think Ekitike could score more, especially in big matches. That's my biggest critique of his, and I'm pretty sure others, because as a striker, you do need to be scoring in the big moments. For me, he's my favourite striker to watch in the world currently, but he does need to score a tiny bit more, especially in those big matches, because people are starting to call him a stat padder all over the internet. For example, in Liverpool's Champions League game against Galatasaray in the round of 16 yesterday, he was through on goal and his attempt got saved by the goalkeeper. That passage of play was actually quite nice from him. The little touch around Davinson Sanchez, it just lacked the final finish. Now, who's better? Because this is a question appearing all over social media, and it's a difficult one. I can say the scariest thing is, neither of these two players have hit their prime yet, but the Premier League is so blessed. To have these two class attackers and they're not even in their prime yet, the league will always be entertaining when you have forwards like Joao Pedro and Hugo Ekitike. For me, honestly, they've both been amazing and are exceeding expectations. I'm going to let you lot in the comments decide this one because I honestly don't know. They're both on the same level for me as of right now, but I did say earlier, Ekitike is my favourite striker in the world to watch. So that's why I'm letting you lot decide, because I can acknowledge Joao Pedro has turned up in the big moments compared to Ekitike. How about we just enjoy them both and not compare them? We should be thankful football still have these number 9s. Why did I start there? We should still be thankful that football has these type of number 9s remaining. Because for me, I don't enjoy watching a striker who camps in a box all game and scores. Those strikers are good as well, no disrespect to them, because the hardest thing in football is scoring. But they're not really my ideal striker to watch. But I would love to have a striker like that in my team anyways. That's the end of Ads Talks Ball, everyone. Let me know who you lot think. Joao Pedro, Hugo Ekitike. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching.